House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Okay, everybody, it must be Tuesday because Liz and Gina are joining me as they do. My spirits are lifted already. I don't know about you guys, but I feel informed, I feel accompanied, and I feel well taken care of. And that, ladies, is something that you guys are probably intimately familiar with over the last month, because I have always wanted to know, and I haven't asked you this because, you know, your schedules have been very frenetic, but how crazy is it to be either a property manager or a real estate agent when it comes time, you know, leading up to a storm, during a typhoon, and then, you know, most importantly, afterwards?
There's a lot of work that needs to be done, Jason.
I'm
So
sure.
as you said, leading up to the storm, the property managers have to go out there and make sure that each of the properties, whether they're vacant or whether they're occupied by a tenant, making sure that the homes are secured. So we manage quite a number of properties. So they have to make sure that the properties are secured, the tenants have closed the typhoon shutters, and if the units are vacant, the property manager will have to go out there and close the shutters, make sure everything is locked down, ready for the storm. And then after that, we do have a process that after the storm, assessing damages, checking the properties. I mean, all of us, I'm sure you did, we all got waterlogged. Water came in from every crevice it could find in condos and in houses, even if you secured it. So we have to go and assess the damage, get vendors to go in and start the cleaning, get it ready again if it's for sale or for rent. So it's quite a task, especially when you're handling quite a bit. And even for Gina and myself, properties that we have on the market for sale, we have to go back just to make sure it's presentable. And then if it's not, making sure the repairs are done, and we may have to take it off the market. I mean, I've got one that I was ready to put on the market, but I have to hold off until the house is prepared. Paint, by the way, lots of paint are peeling. It looked like a water blaster went through the island and peeled a lot of the paint off, you know, and blasted it with wind and rain. So,
but again,
yeah.
most importantly, no one was hurt and no loss of life. So I mean, that is
Well, that's what I keep saying, that we got blasted, but no loss of life. Lives were spared.
Exactly. Okay, so Gina, what has demanded the majority of your time, say like in the post-storm assessment phase? Were you working on commercial properties or, you know, home residences, or, you know, I'm sure you were already working the phones and already heading out and hitting the road to like personally see the extent of the damage?
Well, the thing is, just before the storm, what we were worried about was not only boarding up houses. I'm always particularly worried about the homes where the owners are not on island. If owners are on island or if the units are occupied, of course, we contact the tenants and say, here's a list of what you need to do. You know, please make sure you take care of that. But for units where the owners are off island, that's where we really have to get on the road and go and assess what can we do to secure this property. And sometimes, especially with properties that didn't have shutters, we just do the best we can. But not only that, a couple of days before the storm, Liz and I were running around trying to pick up our signs, you know, real estate signs. Can you imagine? We don't want that to be the thing that slams into someone's window.
Right. Same thing for politicians in political season. They say if there is a storm coming, all politicians are required to remove their signage.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. We drove around and we asked. We have a gentleman that helps us, thank goodness for Amos, who's always out there, but he can't do it all, the day before the storm. So we were running around, and in some cases we couldn't pick up the sign. We just laid it down so that we knew at least, it's secured on the ground and it's not going to go flying into someone's property.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the storm, same thing. And imagine during this, with this storm, we had gas, I call it rationing, or we weren't able to just go fuel up the way we normally could. So I was trying to be mindful of that, but I went around and checked all the properties where either the owner, I knew the owner had their hands full with their existing property where they lived, and they just, I didn't want to burden them with saying, add this to your list. Or I knew the owners were off island, and I said, I'm going to go out there. And even with the properties that had management, our property managers themselves some of them suffered at home as well.
Mhm.
And so Liz and I were out on the road, helping them to check on those properties so we can report to off-island owners, you know what, it sounds bad, the news you're hearing. And in this case, I shared with some of the managers, not being able to get news is more devastating than to be able to hear what's going on in the ground. During this storm, that was really the issue, is we weren't able to make phone calls to let the owners know, hey, it's not as bad as it sounds, it's not as bad as what you're hearing only stateside. We weren't able to contact a lot of people because of our cellular service, because of the lines being down, because of power. But that's what we do. We give out information just like you, Jason.
And
because
there is an important,
is
there's a
really
very important point to be made, because like the telecommunications companies, as soon as it was safe to do so, pretty much like the next day, they immediately started saying, okay, what is the extent to our infrastructure's damage? What can we restore right now? And we have to prioritize which cellular sites are up. With you guys, I'm sure too, you're looking at a house that maybe has down trees, possible power line issues and everything, twisted fencing or gates and everything. So Liz, how do you actually determine what needs the most attention and in what order?
I think if it's a situation where there's a tenant occupying the unit and it's damaged, because just bear in mind, a number of the properties, the windows got blown in. So it's securing those windows. I think the critical part will be securing the property to save it from any burglaries or vandalism. So the key would be, if it's occupied, secure the home. And then if it's vacant, secure it again, because, you don't know what's going to happen out there with people who may be vandalizing. And I think someone even mentioned someone was walking around Tamooning, checking on vehicles, opening their doors. So you just have to make sure your property is secured, boarded up. Right now, even trying to get vendors to go out. I remember calling one vendor, having them to come and look at my windows to secure it so that the next typhoon it won't blow in, because it's weakened after this particular storm. And the feedback was it's difficult to get workers to get there. So finding vendors to help in securing these properties is difficult right now. But we're fortunate that we do have vendors that have gone out to help us secure these properties.
Okay, final question on this is for Gina. Then I want to talk about something much more positive, right? Gina, a lot of what you do, because you and Liz both say you're in the customer service business, and you give you give assurance, and you appeal to the customers, their state of well-being, right? How much of what you've had to do over the last month has also been giving, not necessarily say, we can rebuild a door or we can repair a window, but giving that client the peace of mind that they will be okay from the psychological?
I think that, Jace, that's actually the first thing you have to do. Because you have to be the calm after the storm, because everyone's rattled, including the people here in our office. We walked in the day after the storm to an office that was completely flooded.
Yeah.
One of our roof door actually was pulled off the hinges, came off. Our office was completely flooded. So the first thing we needed to do is reassure the people in our office who had to go out and take care of these tenants. Listen, we're going to get through this and we're going to do it together. And then after that, you kind of pull yourself together, and then you reach out to these tenants and the landlords and you help put them at ease. And then from there, everything else is achievable. We just got to get the team together, and we are lucky that we have such good people that we work with over the years. And so we all kind of came together and say, okay, what do let's not forget that the people around us who are helping us put these things together also may have been impacted.
Right.
So the first thing we needed to do is make sure our people were okay, because when they're okay, then they can focus on our customers and our clients. And so that's pretty much what we did. Hey, let's get together. Let's figure out, what do you need? Okay, now let's do what we can to make that happen. And then you go out there and take care of the customers and the clients that we're working for. I think we've done that as a team.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.